In this video, I'm going to tell you how 5 injuries are impacting the NBA playoff race. Welcome back, everybody. My name is Troy, and this is the Half Court Report. On this channel, we discuss all things NBA, so whether that's the latest news, team and player analysis, what-if scenarios, the list goes on, really. This is still a very new channel. It would mean so much if you could like, comment, and subscribe. Or if you want, hey, do all 3. That would be great too. Okay, so as for today's topic, we're talking about the 5 injuries that are impacting the NBA playoff race. And I first wanted to talk about the Sixers. I don't know if you've heard, but the Sixers, they've had some medical issues, maybe for like the last 6 or 7 years now. But a little bit of background on them really quick. They're in a tight race with Miami and Indiana for the 4th seed in the playoffs. And we know that's important because 4th seed means you're going to get a home court advantage. And that's especially crucial for the Sixers team because they are so bad on the road. They've played 30 games on the road. They've only won 9 of those. So as for their injuries, injury number 1 that is impacting the 2020 NBA playoffs, Ben Simmons has a back injury that is being called a nerve impingement. So he's going to be reevaluated in about another week and a half. That doesn't mean he's going to be ready. He's just going to be reevaluated. So when you have a nerve impingement, it's like that nerve is getting pinched. And of course, a nerve isn't going to like getting pinched. So there's lots of inflammation involved that can cause pain that moves all the way down the leg. You can get muscle weakness too. And if it gets worse, you can get nerve damage. So the concern is that he's going to get back on the court, he's going to move in a certain way, he's going to re-aggravate it, and boom, then you're just back at square one. And that's tough because there's so much going on in the back. You got to ask yourself, is it a disc issue? Is it a muscle issue? We just don't know. And you also may recall that Simmons missed his whole rookie season with a foot injury. But since then, he's actually been pretty healthy. He did miss 1 game a couple years ago. Last year, he missed 3 games. This month, he's missed 4. And for the season, Simmons is averaging about 17 points, 8 assists, and 8 boards, and also 2 steals per game. Still does not shoot the 3, though. So before we get into what this team could look like without Simmons, we've got to talk about another Philly injury. This one to Joel Embiid, and it is the 2nd injury impacting the 2020 NBA playoffs. This is a shoulder injury, and I know we get a little scared when we hear about Embiid getting injured. What does that mean? Because, this is the same guy who only played 31 games over his first 3 years in the league. So maybe you could say to yourself, yeah, that's apples and oranges. He hasn't had a shoulder injury before, but shoulders are tricky, and you got to remember, I actually covered this on another video on this channel. Kyrie Irving, he's now out for the season with a shoulder injury, and that's something he tried to play through. He couldn't do it any longer. He had to have the surgery. Now he's out until next year. So where does this leave Philly? Well, your only other true point guard on the roster is Raul Neto, who only averages about 8 minutes a game. So Philly's been starting Josh Richardson and Shake Milton in the backcourt. I think with Embiid out, you're going to move Al Horford to the 5, and you'll go ahead and slot Tobias Harris in at the 4. It's my opinion that they're both better at those spots anyway. I would actually move Matisse Thybulle into the starting lineup to replace some of that defense that you lose with Simmons. I do like Korkmaz, Burks, and GR3, Glenn Robinson III coming off the bench. Kyle O'Quinn and Norvel Pell are bigs that are still going to get a little more run with Embiid being out. In all honesty, though, how many wins is that going to get you? Because, yeah, you're not going to miss the playoffs because the East is so bad, but it kind of looks like to me that you're going to blow any shot of getting home court advantage and losing to a team like the Celtics or the Heat in the first round. I think that's an absolute possibility. If you look at other teams in the East who have constructed their rosters in a way I think is the right way, the Bucks and the Raptors, who have drafted well. They've been really smart with their cap space. They don't just go for that big name, they sign a guy who fits. And I would argue that Horford is a bad fit with a bad contract. Harris, not necessarily a bad fit, but I do think he's on a bad contract. Like with Toronto, for instance, when Kyle Lowry was out for a bit, they had guys like Van Vliet and Terrence Davis who could step up. For the Bucks, when Giannis misses a game or two, or like when Middleton was injured earlier on this season, you can look 9, 10, 11 guys down the roster and still find those guys who can contribute. So those teams are deep enough, they have the guys versatile enough that they can fill in the gaps. The Sixers just do not have that. And I think even without these injuries, it was going to lead to major changes in the offseason. And I think with these injuries, it's just going to be more of a definite. We're going to leave Philly now and go about 600 miles away to Indiana. This is the third injury that's impacting the 2020 NBA playoffs. And this is about Jeremy Lamb, who is a 2-guard for the Pacers. And he is out for the rest of the year with a left knee injury. He's got a torn ACL, torn meniscus, and also a fracture. So it's a really bad knee injury. He's in his 8th year. He signed with the Pacers over the summer after 4 years in Charlotte. He averages about 12 points a game. So obviously not as big of a blow for the Pacers, this injury, as the Sixers injuries, but this could still have playoff impacts, and I'll tell you why. The Pacers, like the Sixers and the Heat, they're all tied up in that 4, 5, 6 seed matchup. Luckily for the Pacers, though, Oladipo, he's back. He's still shaking off some of that rust from when he was out for most of the year, but I do think come playoff time, he is going to be rounding back into form. I think this Lamb injury is going to open up more minutes for Aaron Holiday. I like his game. His percentages from 3 are pretty good. I would like to see him take a couple more a game. He's built like a point guard, but he can operate off the ball too. For instance, when Malcolm Brogdon is running the point, the Pacers, they have someone that when a player goes down, they've got a guy that they've drafted and that they've developed, and now he's stepping up. For the fourth injury impacting the NBA playoffs, we're going to head to the Western Conference and the Memphis Grizzlies. So Jaren Jackson Jr. injured his left knee during a game against the Lakers about a week ago. And like with Ben Simmons, they gave us the whole spiel about we'll see how he is in 2 weeks, currently no timetable for his return. This is a big blow for the Grizz because Jaren Jackson Jr. is the second leading scorer for that team at about 17 a game. He also boxes out his man well. He stretches the floor like crazy. He shoots about 6 threes a game, and he hits about 40% of those, so really good percentages there. I would like to see him rebound a little bit better and foul less, but for a player who just turned 20 years old right before the season started, he's giving you really, really all you can expect on a night-to-night basis. And when we heard the news about Jaren, that was a big blow because the Grizzlies are in that tight playoff race for the 8th spot. So you've got Portland, New Orleans, San Antonio, Sacramento. They're kind of all in that position, some better than others, but they're all in that position to get that 8th spot. Toward the end of the season, and even now, it's pretty exciting because it's like, okay, who's going to get it? Well, lucky for Memphis, they have Brandon Clarke who can back up Jaren. So he's a rookie, one of the most efficient rookies in NBA history, insanely athletic. He's a smart player, good defender, advanced stats, love this guy. Well, as luck would have it, the very next game, he plays 4 minutes and he doesn't return. So everybody's like, okay, where is Brandon Clarke? What happened to him? Well, we get the news the next day that he's got a quad injury. And guess what? Reevaluated in 2 weeks. And that is our 5th injury impacting the NBA playoffs. So here's why this matters. The Grizzlies have really been hit hard by injuries lately. Jaren's out. Clark's out. Grayson Allen is out for the year with a hip injury. Justice Winslow, who they got at the trade deadline, he is yet to play. They're expecting him back maybe sometime in mid-March is what I've heard. Their big man depth really taking a beating now because they traded Jay Crowder. They traded Solomon Hill at the deadline. And both of those guys were giving backup minutes at power forward. So last game they actually started Kyle Anderson at the 4, and he's been their small forward. And at the beginning of the year, he wasn't even starting. But with the Jay Crowder trade, he's now starting at small forward. And he was starting at 4. They got destroyed by Houston. A lot of that is because it just throws off the whole makeup of this team. Because guys' minutes are messed up, guys' positions are messed up. Ja Morant, who has been a monster, in case you haven't heard, he's worse because the defenses are able to concentrate more on him. He doesn't have Jaren to kick it out to for an open 3. He doesn't have Brandon Clarke to throw his alley-oops to, so it's just a mess all around. So if I were Memphis, I would consider starting Gorgui Dieng at the 4 along with Jonas Valanciunas. So Dieng is really good when he's given lots of minutes. He can spread out the floor in a similar fashion to Jaren Jackson Jr., He doesn't shoot as many a game, of course, but he can still spread the floor a bit. So when that big part of their offense, when it comes to taking threes, is taken away, the team really suffers for it. But all in all, it is not looking good for the Grizz, especially when you look at their remaining schedule. You see a team like New Orleans, who's got an easier schedule, and Zion's back in the lineup. They've been doing well with him. They're really starting to gel. So I think if you're a Memphis fan, you just got to hope these injuries aren't going to be long-term. So what does everybody think? Tell me in the comments which injury you think is the worst for the team and why. Also, if you like videos like this, as I mentioned before, please comment, like, and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers, and like I said at the beginning of this video, we're still a relatively new channel. Every little bit helps. So until next time, my name is Troy. This is the Half Court Report, and thank you for watching. Hey guys, one more thing. Here's some more videos to check out on the Half Court Report channel. I hope you like them, and thanks for watching.